First of all, yes, I did wash my hair. Yes, it does look like this when I wash it. Please, let's just pretend my head does not exist. Don't look at it, don't comment on it. In today's video, we are talking about Miss Universe entering its supposed flop era. Why am I saying this? When has Miss Universe ever had a flop era? Miss Universe, from what I know from my pageant history, has always been the top pageant. And is that about to change? Let's get into it, because today I got some horrifying news. Esther Swan, the woman who has always accompanied all of our gorgeous, glorious Miss Universes on all of their travels, has quit the organization. I thought that maybe Amy, the most recently added CEO, or perhaps even Paula would be the first to quit. But no, it turns out that Esther is the first of the old bunch of Miss Universe to put in her resignation. And this is shocking to me because she has always been such an integral part of the Miss Universe organization. Wherever the girls go, you see Esther. She's always been that accompanying person, and she's not been with Miss Universe since yesterday. She's been with Miss Universe for more than 2 decades, more than 20 years. Esther has been with Miss Universe, and there's never been an indication once of her being dissatisfied with the organization. Throughout the Trump era and even with the IMG era, she's always been there, she's always been happy to be there, and she's always been there 100% for the girls. So what made her decide to quit exactly? Nobody knows. Being the classy lady that she is, she's not running her mouth all over the internet about why she's quitting. I suppose she wants to be open to getting a new job, and obviously being one of those people like myself, running your mouth all over the internet is not a very employable feature to have. So Mama Esther has quit, that's all we know as of right now, but one person quitting the organization does not really make it a flop era for Miss Universe, now does it? Why do I call this the beginning of Miss Universe's flop era exactly? Well, if you've been following my accounts as well as a lot of other people's pages for a long time, Miss Universe has been making a lot of unwanted changes, so to speak. First of all, the new owner, Miss Khun Anne, at first when she joined Miss Universe, or I wouldn't say joined, she bought it. She is the owner of Miss Universe now. She bought it from IMG. A lot of people were very excited, including myself, because she is a trans woman. She is Thai. She may bring a fresh perspective, a fresh way of doing things. She may freshen up the pageant a little bit, bring in an extra bit of budget or whatever. That's always welcome, and that's what I thought was going to happen. I did not anticipate how this woman was going to make a lot of people loathe Miss Universe within months of her taking over. Because it's not only the fans who find Khun Anne annoying, because she's always in every picture and she's always the one talking. She never allows Miss Universe to actually do her job, which entails speaking a lot of the times. She's always there, okay? And that's the thing that annoys us fans and supporters of Miss Universe. But she has also antagonized the national franchise holders. I'm talking the national directors from every single country that is basically paying Miss Universe to send a woman to Miss Universe. Okay, so she has started this bidding war. If you guys aren't caught up on the whole bidding war thing by now, it's just, she basically said that, listen, before renewing licenses and franchises to some organizations which have held the licenses for years and years and years and years, she's going to give the license to Miss Universe for whoever is willing to pay the most from a certain country. And that has caused, particularly in Asia, a lot of anger and a lot of organizations to suddenly change their license or not have their license anymore, and it's been very unfortunate. Fortunately, there's not been that big of an issue in Africa in particular, not only because there aren't that many African countries at Miss Universe. I mean, what we have: Nigeria, Angola, Namibia, South Africa, with Mauritius and Seychelles, they did have a little bit of a thing where the owner was like, listen, bidding wars is not for me, but I'm handing over the reins to this other girl. But overall, the license is still in the same hands there. South Africa hasn't lost their license. Namibia, from what I can tell, haven't lost their license, unfortunately. And so yes, there's been that. And then she's also come out and said some very controversial things. So you know how, okay, I'm South African, so I'm going to speak from this perspective. The Miss South Africa organization has always held the license for Miss Universe and Miss World, Miss Universe and Miss World, and then recently they've gotten the license for Miss Supranational. Right. So Khun Anne has come out and said that she doesn't like when national organizations hold the Miss Universe license and also other international pageant licenses. Essentially, she's trying to say that Miss Universe is better than any other international pageant in the world, and why the hell would any national organization want to hold any other license when they have clearly the best license in the world, which is Miss Universe. Okay, so she also low-key stated that she doesn't like that, and yeah, so, and then ostensibly, allegedly, she also doesn't want any contestants who have competed at other international pageants to come and compete at Miss Universe, nor does she want runner-ups at Miss Universe. Okay, with regards to this has been sort of an unspoken thing at Miss World for the longest time. Okay, I'm just gonna say this is rumors, so I don't want to be sued, but it has been unspoken for a long time that Miss World's owner, Miss Julia Morley, doesn't necessarily like runners-up at her pageant either. It doesn't make it understandable or right. I mean, don't just categorize women on the fact that they got runner-up at their national pageant. Look at women individually is what I'm basically trying to say. So with Khun Anne, with regards to Khun Anne, it hasn't even been a year since she took over Miss Universe, and she's already made all of these sort of unwanted changes. With regards to the changes we were hoping that she was going to make, I think it was to do with the quality of the pageant itself and activities that Miss Universe was going to get involved with, and perhaps some charitable causes, and perhaps, things that are positive changes. But Khun Anne has made all of these financial changes that have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and have said some very insulting things to countries and other international pageants, especially because the fact that she doesn't want other international pageants licenses to be held under the same organizations that are holding her license, the Miss Universe license, it just is like, why do you think your organization is better than all of these other pageant organizations, and now somehow they can't breathe the same air as you? I mean, that just sounds very, I'm not going to use the word, but it sounds like, she thinks that she's much better than other people, which I don't think is a good thing to do or to say, or, I don't even understand the business reason why you would want that. For example, Miss South Africa holding 3 licenses, Miss Universe being one of them, and Miss World and Miss Supranational being the other 2, it doesn't take anything away from Miss Universe. So why would she even say that she had that preference? She said it's not an official rule, but she has a preference. I don't even know why I'm saying it like this, but she has a preference that organizations don't hold other licenses in conjunction with Miss Universe. I'm just like, why even say that? Just shut up and, at least have the decency to make it an unspoken rule like Miss World has done for years. So yeah, she has been rubbing so many people the wrong way. And let me tell you, from what I've heard, Miss Universe as a whole is just going downhill, especially when it comes to the fairness of it all. Is it going to be fair? Because Khun Anne, she stated repeatedly that it's going to be fair, she's going to do these things, but then I also heard back from certain contestants that were at Miss Universe that perhaps it wasn't as fair as she was making it out to be. So there is that. Apart from that, there have also been other unwanted changes, like I've mentioned before. Miss Universe doesn't feel like Miss Universe. Within Catriona's reign, especially, Demi's reign, Zosi's reign especially, even though Zosi's reign was cut by the pandemic and really hurt by the pandemic, I feel like at least back then Miss Universe was still Miss Universe. She was the one. The spotlight was on her and she was the one speaking if there was a speaking opportunity. She was the face of the organization, hence why she is titled Miss Universe. But I feel like what we are watching now is not Miss Universe. We are watching Khun Anne featuring Miss Universe because she's just always there. She's the one speaking. She's in a lot of the photo shoots. And don't even get me started on the unnecessary amount of times that she has gone out on her social media asking everyone and their mother. I almost spoke Afrikaans. I was almost like, she's asking every Jan Rap and sy maat for their opinion on what's going on. These trivial things. She's looking for people's opinion, but then again, she's also, looking for people's opinion on trivial matters, whereas back at the ranch, she's making these major unwanted decisions that truly affect people's businesses all over the world. I mean, having a Miss Universe license and having a national pageant is a business. And her deciding suddenly, oh, you know what, I might not renew your license. You know what, that's just something that I might not do because someone else is offering me more money. And I understand that it's her business as well, but you have some compassion. I mean, my goodness, some people have been doing this, sending women to Miss Universe for literally like 40 years under the same organization, like Miss Namibia or whatever, or Miss South Africa since 1998, and just have some respect for the history. You guys know what stickler I am for history, and I feel like what Khun Anne is doing is so disrespectful with regards to the history of these national pageants that she's basically just like throwing in the bin by refusing to renew their licenses. That's just, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. But yeah, especially organizations that have been doing decently at Miss Universe, unlike Miss Namibia, which hasn't placed since 2003. I mean, there are other organizations that have had their application denied or have lost their license simply because someone else outbid them, but they have been doing decently at Miss Universe, decently enough. I mean, the only comparison I can make to this is, imagine Miss South Africa, right? Miss South Africa has been doing very decently at Miss Universe, more than decently within the past few years. But imagine there was this other company in South Africa that was like, you know what, we can really profit off of having the Miss Universe license, and they offer Miss Universe more money than the Miss South Africa organization ever could when it becomes time to renew the license. And because of this new principle that Anne has, she then decides to go with this other company, completely ignoring Miss South Africa's track record at Miss Universe. I'm not saying that's going to happen. At this point, I don't think that will happen. I think that license applications probably are drawing to a close. So I think if that were to happen, we would have known about it by now. But just imagine, and that is what has been happening all around the world to all of these countries, and it's just so sad. It's so sad, to be honest with you. So yeah, I do think that Khun Anne probably is the reason why Miss Universe is entering its flop era, mainly. There are other pageants that I think are becoming better and more well loved than Miss Universe and Miss World. I mean, Miss World is just a clown show nowadays. It's not in terms of the women. I love the women, and I love that Miss World is all about charity and, you know, seeing the women as individuals and not objectifying them a lot. As I'm growing older, I do appreciate that about Miss World, but they've had one pageant in 4 years. Miss World might as well be the Olympics of beauty. They might as well just rebrand, because it's been postponed again. Right, I'm such a clown, because I thought that Miss World was going to be held in May. No, it's going to be like closer to December. So yes, the Miss South Africa organization are probably going to also have to rethink about whether or not they will still be sending Ndavi to Miss World. So we have that to look forward to later the year when we get that announcement. But anyway, yes, Miss Universe and Miss World is, you know, they're going like on a downward spiral. And then we have Miss Grand and Miss Supranational coming all the way up. Miss Grand is an amazing pageant in terms of quality of production. Their contestants are also quite good, but then they also have fashion. You know, it's very entertaining pageant, Miss Grand, very, very entertaining. But then again, they also have Nawat, who is very much like Khun Anne, and he's a bit, you know. And then we have Miss Supranational, who, guys, Miss Supranational is the hill I will die on. I love this organization so much, just because of they bring the best aspects of Miss Universe and Miss World together so beautifully, because they are about beauty and fashion and giving us a show and things in the way that Miss World isn't. But then again, they're also about charity. Like, they are about charity, talking to these women, especially their title holders, and also from Mr. Supranational, figuring out what they want to tackle in society, what they want to change, and then literally making tangible change, and taking steps to fulfill that. I can only tell you, since Shanique from Namibia was Miss Supranational, they came to Namibia, the Miss Supranational organization, and did things here, and then they also went all over the world. Miss Supranational is one of the most well-traveled international queens ever. Of course, they do, you know, have some things that I wish were different. For example, the length of their shows is like 3-4 hours. It's a bit long, but there are reasons for that. As I found out recently, in Poland there are some rules and regulations in terms of, you know, advertising and what, you know, there are some things. And then also their preliminary shows, which I think there are a lot of, for example, Miss Elegance and all of the rest. But besides that, I do really like Miss Supranational. I think it's coming up, as well as Miss Grand International is coming up, and I think that Miss World has been slowly dying for a long time now, and I revere it because of its age and its vast history. But truth be told, Miss World is sort of just not relevant anymore to a lot of young people, and Miss Universe, I think, is, instead of dying slowly and gracefully like Miss World, Miss Universe, I feel in the past few months has been crash landing and exploding, you know. So there's that. I don't know, Miss Universe, to me, it's just good. I wish Khun Anne would just calm down, step back, let Paula do the thing that she has been doing, and now you've already lost Esther. Oh my goodness, I just am waiting in the wings to see what's going to be happening with Miss Universe. Luckily, Miss Supranational is next on the list of international pageants this year. So let me know what you guys think. I would love to know your thoughts on this. Is Miss Universe on its flop era? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!